What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to JJD TV. I'm your host, Josh, and today we have a special little match preview that we've actually partnered up with our friends at Over the Bar, and we are lucky enough to have two of them here today to go through our little match preview between the upcoming game between Eintracht Frankfurt and Borussia Mönchengladbach. So before we get into it, let's just introduce our two guests here, and we're going to start with Mark. So Mark, how you doing today?
Yeah, it's all good with me. A little bit cold over here in Germany, but yeah, everything's pretty fine.
And Mark, do you want to get into a little bit of just Over the Bar and kind of what led to our little partnership here for the featured game?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So basically, Over the Bar, it's like a group of friends who decided to we're all kind of football crazy. We're all from the kind of region of Manchester in the UK. And basically, we were a group of mates at university, and we wanted to we just love football. And then, like, a group of us, we kind of got together and we thought, like, why not kind of make our love for the game into something more productive, you know? So basically, we kind of got together and we decided to make the blog. And it started, I think it originally started about 4 years ago. I think it was 2016, roughly, yeah. And then I think originally it was just a slow kind of start. I mean, we were writing about our clubs. Like, my number one team is Wigan Athletic in the UK. I don't know if you guys know them, but yeah, I mean, it's a small team. And then some of us support Man City, some United. And then it kind of kicked off from there, really. I mean, the website, like Paul particularly, he's like really keen on the kind of technical side of things. And it started off with a website. And then we decided to kind of branch on into YouTube as well, because obviously it's kind of a big market with this kind of thing as well. So yeah, we went into YouTube, and then the Bundesliga show is our number one show really nowadays. So yeah, it's great to do the partnership with you guys at JJD TV as well. So yeah, we're just hoping to grow. Like, we want to get as many subscribers as possible. So if any of you guys watching now, if you want to subscribe, then please feel free to do so as well. We've got a lot of football related content on there. League One show we've got as well. Just about everything related to the beautiful game of football that we love over here in the UK. So yeah, I mean, enjoy.
And that's awesome. I'm excited to have you guys on. And I am familiar with Wigan. They're the Manchester City Slayers and the FA Cup winners of.
I was there that day actually. Yeah, I was there. It was probably the best day ever for a Wigan fan, to be honest with you.
I can imagine. But yeah, that's awesome. We're excited to have you guys on. We've done a little bit of work in the past, so we'll just toss it on over to Rory. Rory, how you doing today?
Yeah, really good, thanks. Yeah, not too bad. Really excited, looking ahead of this big game, of course.
Nice. And Rory, you have a little special something you want to mention as well to our viewers here, so go right ahead.
I do, yeah. So we've recently started up a bit of a community predictor league. So for those of you who are familiar with things like Sky Sports' Super Six, it's basically a simpler version of that. So you just guess 7 results from a weekend given, and then you've got a chance of basically winning weekly prize pots. So it's basically kind of like £2 UK sterling to enter the league each weekend, with a chance of winning like a prize pot basically, and jackpots go rolling on until someone gets a 7 out of 7. So we're looking at expanding that league. So obviously, if any of you guys want to get involved, please do so. You can get to that via my Twitter page. It is the pinned tweet. So you can reach it that way, or of course just drop me a DM. I'm sure Josh will be able to leave you guys the details as well at the end of the show.
Absolutely. And if you guys want to win any money and think you're good at predicting games, then there's a spot to be. But this is our first ever little match preview that we've had some guests on. So guys, this should be pretty fun looking up for the upcoming game between Frankfurt and Gladbach. And what we like to do in our previews here is we like to just dive into the recent history between the clubs, see if it helps the tide lead one way or the other. So I'll lead off with you guys. So Mark, if you want to start off about just a brief history in the past few seasons between these two clubs.
Yeah, I mean, obviously last season it wasn't good at all for Frankfurt, with 2 comfortable wins for Gladbach. I mean, it was 4-2 and 3-1. So obviously 7 goals conceded in 2 games. definitely Frankfurt are going to want to shore up at the back a lot in this game. Then the year before, I think it was a draw and another win for Gladbach as well. But then 3 seasons ago, Frankfurt did the double over Gladbach. So yeah, I think in the last 2 seasons, obviously Gladbach quite comfortably more successful than Frankfurt. But obviously, I mean, they don't have to go back too far to the last victory for Frankfurt, which was 5 games ago. But yeah, I do think that, I think Gladbach are definitely the favourites for today. But I think personally, I went for a Frankfurt win. Actually, yeah, I went for a win for Frankfurt. Yeah, on our last over the bar show, I actually went for a 2-1 home win for Frankfurt. So I think they've got the quality to kind of turn around that bad run of form today, and we'll just have to wait and see. I think it's going to be a good game today.
It's a ballsy call, Mark. I like it though. So let's pass it over to Rory. Anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, based on the show that we did just on this weekend when we did our predictions, I've gone the complete opposite way. So I've said 2-1. I've said 2-1 Gladbach. So obviously, me and Mark have been kind of doing these predictions against each other on the show, on the Bundesliga show. I'm currently leading the way 6-2. Since we've been doing it, so Mark needs to catch up.
So he's got Frankfurt today.
So that's why he's gone a little bit more off track. Maybe he wants to try and pull back on us. But to be honest, I think now that Gladbach have got the Champions League, qualification to the next round done and dusted, they need now to turn their attention back to their Bundesliga form. Having just seen the starting 11 come out, it looks like a very strong Mönchengladbach side, which I'm sure we'll go into in a little bit. But yeah, for me, obviously the head-to-heads kind of suggest that Gladbach have had the better of it as well in recent times. So I do think that Gladbach will be able to get themselves a vital win. So I'm saying 2-1.
And I like to give my predictions right at the end. So considering you guys are on 2 polar opposite wavelengths here, I'm going to put mine right before we end it out today. But so you just mentioned on the recent form. So you guys want to touch on that? And going into this game right here, I wonder who you guys think has got the most momentum. So Mark, again, we will start with you.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I think both sides are underperforming a little bit in the league. I think obviously only 2 wins out of 11 games for Frankfurt. It's not great, really, is it? Obviously, they've only lost 2 games as well, and I think there's something of the draw specialists of the Bundesliga this season. But I mean, they really need to start winning games as well, because obviously I think Frankfurt is one of the big clubs in Germany. Maybe not one of the big 4 clubs, but it's definitely one of the big 8, I would say. Yeah. So, I mean, they're going to expect to be up there in that top half, and they need to start winning games, really. I mean, on the flip side, Gladbach, obviously they've had that amazing run in the Champions League. Like, nobody thought they'd be able to get through that group. And despite a little bit of luck, really, with the draw between Inter and Shakhtar, I still think, it's an amazing achievement. Obviously, drawing Manchester City as well, so they've got that to look forward to in February. But yeah, I mean, on the flip side, Gladbach as well, they also need to start winning games because, they're a top 4 side on paper, really, aren't they? At least top 5. And at the minute, they're kind of dwindling around in mid-table. They need to start winning games and stop throwing away leads as well, I think. So, yeah, I mean, it's a game that both sides need to win today for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said. And Gladbach has just been toying with us by giving us some good performances and then some very inconsistent performances. So I agree that they definitely have to be one of the top 4, if not 5 teams, and they're just definitely, for me, underperforming right now. But Rory, anything else that you would like to add to that?
Yeah, I'd agree with both of you. From both teams, I think it's been pretty underwhelming. Certainly in the Bundesliga. I think naturally Gladbach have been having to juggle their squad a little bit, trying to get the balance right. They've kind of done it because they've not lost many games, but at the same time, those draws are hurting them a little bit. Certainly in our predictions early on in the season, I think I backed them to come third. At the moment, that's looking like a long way off right now, the way the results have been going. But I'm sure now that even though this midweek game is probably something they didn't really need, because they've been going back to back in the Champions League, they probably would have liked a full week to rest and then go full guns blazing at the weekend instead. But as we said, they should go all out for this, and so I do expect them to come good. With Frankfurt as well, as Mark said, draw specialists on the one hand. They're not losing many games, which is good. But looking at the table today and how, depending on how this round of midweek games go, Frankfurt lose and a couple of teams below them win, they're obviously then going to drop down to, below mid-table, and then we start to look a little bit further below. I'm not saying that Frankfurt will be anywhere near a relegation race at all, because their squad is definitely capable of being in top 8, I'd say. But they need to start converting some of those draws into wins.
Absolutely. Both teams are definitely playing iffy right now, and they definitely need a win to try to jumpstart their season back, especially if Frankfurt more than likely is going for the Europa League, while Gladbach has to be trying to target Champions League football. But you made a good point as the fact that Champions League football can take a toll on a team, especially when they're not used to kind of playing at that type of level pretty much midweek like that, and we're kind of seeing it a little bit in the league right now. But we're going to jump right now into the starting 11. So I'm going to let Mark start off with Frankfurt because he's backing them to win today. So I'm just going to add it to the stream right now. And Mark, if you want to take a look at this starting 11 and tell me what you think about it, and even a player for you who stands out.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the big things is the fact that Andre Silva's back in the side as well. I think obviously he missed the game on Friday night against Wolfsburg, and I think he's like the key talisman really for them. He's probably their kind of number one player as well. I mean, obviously it's not a full side, I wouldn't say, from Frankfurt. I think one of the big points is the fact that Daichi Kamada is missing as well. Like for me, he's been their player of the season this year. I've been a really, really big fan of him. I mean, the way that he kind of runs through the lines and he plays those tricky little passes and makes runs beyond the defense. I mean, he's been really impressive for me this year, Daichi Kamada. But I still think, I mean, obviously a few faces that we don't see so often in there, like Armin Younes, he's not had very much game time this season, so it'll be interesting to see how he does. But yeah, I mean, obviously Kostic as well is a real quality player too, so we'll have to see. I mean, it's going to be an interesting game today, but I do think there's enough quality in that Frankfurt side to get the win today over Gladbach.
Yeah, absolutely. And Kostic is definitely one who looks out for me because I love watching him down that left-hand side. He's quick, he's pacey, he's honestly great at going forward as well as even defending. But like I agree with you with Andre Silva. I think he's the real game changer in this team right now. And for me, he'll be the player that we want to take a look at. So looking on over to the Gladbach side, I'm going to let Rory take it away with their 4-2-3-1 setup. So Rory, what do you think of the starting 11 and who's your players to watch out for?
Well, it's difficult to know where to start really because it's such an exciting looking team, and looking at even the players that they've got on the bench really. But naturally, as you can imagine, the standout players to me, you're looking towards that forward line of Marcus Thuram and of course Alassane Plie as well. Both of them statistically, if you look at their goals in the Bundesliga this season, it doesn't really add up that much. It doesn't look impressive on paper. But of course, these two players and with Stindl as well have mainly been used in the Champions League because of their obviously ongoing challenge in that group. So, like I said, now that is over, I expect to see a stronger lineup in the Bundesliga from Gladbach on a more regular basis. And as a result, I expect to see more goals from Thuram and Plie. Obviously the way that they play with pace, those two have obviously got a really good connection on the field as well. So I think those two, of course, are going to be dangerous players going forward. I expect them to create chances today and to score goals. Other than kind of looking at the forward line and aspect of it, it's I'd say it's important to see the likes of Liner back in the team. He's a really good right back, I think, and he's played some good football. He's coming up to an age like being 28, and so he's kind of looking, he's at his kind of peak of his powers. He knows his game. I think he provides a lot of assists as well, so that's important. And then apart from that, it's probably quite a big thing to see Jan Sommer back in goal as well. I think they've missed him. So for me, it's an incredibly strong-looking team. It's good to see Zakaria, might be a poor pronunciation, but to see him back on the bench. He's a really good player as well, and he's one of those kind of dominating CDMs that you see knocking around. So I'm not sure how much game time he'll get today necessarily, but if he gets himself fit and getting back to the same level of form that he was playing, he'd be a really key player as well.
Yep, and that's well said. You touched on a lot of players because, like you said, Gladbach does have, on paper, at least in my opinion, the strongest of the two teams. Tram and Player, for me, are two of the big ones up front, as well as Ginter at the back. He's always been a solid center back for them. He's a leader from the back, so I think he'll be very tough for some of the Frankfurt players to try to break him down. So that's perfect. So we'll get into a couple of just little quick questions here before we wrap it up. And I didn't know about this stat. I didn't know if you guys did, but apparently Frankfurt has won only one game at home this season while drawing the rest. So you guys saying that they're the drawing specialist definitely comes to mind there. And we also got a little love for you guys here. I'm not sure if this is obviously one of your guys' viewer or subscriber who said they love the Bundesliga show. Great to see Over the Bar lads on here. Josh was great on their show in terms of the game. Gladbach will win this one. So that was awesome. A lot of little love right there before we wrap this up today. But I guess I'm going to do my prediction. So we know that Mark is obviously 2-1 for Frankfurt. Rory's 2-1 for Gladbach. So I guess I'm the tiebreaker. And I think the comments and I will probably have to agree that I'm going to probably go with a 1-0 Gladbach win today. And my friend here, Ian, agrees with me there. So thank you guys so much for coming on today. I'm going to leave you guys with one more word if you want to let it go before we wrap it up here. Mark, is there any last things you want to say before this one kicks off?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for inviting us on, Josh. I hope we can come back again sometime. And yeah, just check out the Bundesliga show. Obviously, we've got a little bit of love there from one of our regulars, Ian, as well. So shout out to you. And obviously our Forest Green fan as well. We appreciate your support as well, yeah. So it's good to see we're getting some cross-show fans as well there. Yeah. Just remember to click subscribe as well, because it helps us to kind of build up a little bit more of a following as well. And I mean, we've got a lot of different shows on there. We've got about different information about derbies, also a Dortmund derby as well. We did a special piece on the Riviera derby against Schalke 04. So yeah, I mean, check that out as well. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it was great. Thanks for inviting us on.
Not a problem. Rory?
Yeah, really enjoyed coming on, Josh. Real pleasure working with you at the moment. Really enjoying your content, which is brilliant. Just to look forward, obviously, in terms of this game, me and Mark will be covering it in detail on our next Bundesliga show. We'll make sure it appears in our featured four. Hopefully, then it provides a really good game full of goals, not a 0-0 or but yeah, really exciting, really enjoying the way that we're working together as the two collaborative YouTube channels, and there is more and more to come from both, I am sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys, we got the first ever preview here with a little collaboration. We're going to do the watch along, and then obviously jump on over to their channel to see the review of the game, because they're going to hopefully make it their featured game of the week, because that's what we're here for to do. So yeah, before we get going here, we got a nice little comment that says close to 1K, and yeah, we are very close to 1K, guys. We're only about, I think, about 40-ish away. So if you guys are new around to this channel as well, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and then jump on over to the Bundesliga show and do the same there. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we're wrapping up today's little preview for the Eintracht Frankfurt and Gladbach game. We'll be jumping on the watch along immediately after this. So thank you everyone for commenting, watching along with us, and we'll see you over at the watch along. Take care, guys.